All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Saira Mustaba. The headlines. India and UAE sign comprehensive economic partnership agreement. Two countries to boost bilateral trade to $100 billion in the next 5 years. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India and UAE stand together in fight against terrorism. Prime Minister to inaugurate Bio-CNG plant in Indore at 1 p.m. today. India achieves another milestone in its fight against COVID-19. 80% of adult population fully vaccinated. Third phase of assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh and single-phase polling in Punjab to be held tomorrow. NIA arrests IPS officer for leaking secret documents to overground worker of Lashkar-e-Taiba terror group. Nepal government to adopt India's Unified Payments Interface as payments platform in the Himalayan nation. And in cricket, India beat West Indies by 8 runs in the second T20 International of the 3-match series in Kolkata. With the new Omicron variant of coronavirus causing concern, we appeal to our listeners to be vigilant and get fully vaccinated and also help others, including children between 15 and 18 years, to get vaccinated. Please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan held a virtual summit yesterday evening. Both leaders expressed deep satisfaction at the continuous growth in bilateral relations in all sectors. Prime Minister Modi and the Crown Prince issued a joint vision statement, advancing the India and UAE comprehensive strategic partnership, new frontiers, new milestone. The statement establishes a roadmap for a future-oriented partnership between India and UAE and identifies focus areas and outcomes. The shared objective is to promote new trade, investment and innovation dynamic in diverse sectors, including economy, energy, climate action, emerging technologies, skills and education, food security, healthcare, and defense and security. A major highlight of the virtual summit was the signing and exchange of the India-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, CEPA. It was signed by Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal and Minister of Economy of UAE, Abdullah bin Tawq Al Mari, in the virtual presence of the 2 leaders. The agreement will provide significant benefits to Indian and UAE businesses, including enhanced market access and reduced tariffs. Prime Minister Modi and the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi also released a joint commemorative stamp on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of India's independence and 50th year of UAE's foundation. During the summit, 2 MOUs were signed between India and UAE entities were also announced. The Prime Minister thanked the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi for taking care of the Indian community during the COVID pandemic. He also invited him to pay an early visit to India. In his opening remarks at the India-UAE virtual summit, Prime Minister Modi said the summit reflects that the friendly relationship between the 2 countries is continuously reaching a new height despite various challenges. He said Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi's personal role in strengthening the relationship has been extremely important. Mr. Modi expressed happiness that India and UAE have signed a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. Mr. Modi said that this agreement reflects the deep friendship, shared vision and trust between the 2 countries.
इस वर्चुअल समिट में आपका हार्दिक स्वागत है। सबसे पहले मैं आपको और यूएई को बधाई देना चाहता हूं। कोविड की चुनौतियों के बावजूद एक्सपो 2020 का आयोजन बहुत शानदार रहा। दुर्भाग्यवश मैं एक्सपो में भाग लेने के लिए यूएई नहीं आ पाया और हमारी रूबरू मुलाकात भी बहुत समय से नहीं हो पाई, लेकिन हमारी वर्चुअल समिट यह दिखाती है कि तमाम चुनौतियों के बावजूद हमारे मित्रतापूर्ण संबंध निरंतर नई ऊंचाइयों तक पहुंच रहे हैं।
He said the agreement will usher in a new era of economic relations and bilateral trade within the 2 countries will grow from $60 billion to $100 billion in the next 5 years.
दोनों देशों के फ्यूचर विजन में काफी समानता है। मुझे बहुत प्रसन्नता है कि हमारे दोनों देश कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इकोनॉमिक पार्टनरशिप एग्रीमेंट पर हस्ताक्षर कर रहे हैं। यह उल्लेखनीय है कि इतने महत्वपूर्ण समझौते पर हम 3 महीने से भी कम समय में बातचीत संपन्न कर पाए। यह समझौता दोनों देशों की गहरी मित्रता, साझा दृष्टिकोण और विश्वास को दर्शाता है। मुझे विश्वास है कि इसने हमारे आर्थिक संबंधों में एक नया युग आरंभ होगा और हमारा व्यापार अगले 5 वर्षों में $60 बिलियन से बढ़कर $100 बिलियन तक पहुंच जाएगा।
The Prime Minister strongly condemned the recent terrorist attacks in UAE. He said India and UAE will stand shoulder to shoulder against terrorism.
हमारे संबंधों को मजबूत करने में आपकी व्यक्तिगत भूमिका अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण रही है। कोविड महामारी के दौरान भी आपने जिस तरह यूएई के भारतीय समुदाय का ध्यान रखा है, उसके लिए मैं आपका सदैव आभारी रहूंगा। हम हाल में यूएई में हुए आतंकी हमलों की कड़ी निंदा करते हैं। भारत और यूएई आतंकवाद के विरुद्ध कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर खड़े रहेंगे।
Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has said that India-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or CEPA, is a complete and comprehensive economic partnership agreement which was finalized in the shortest possible time. Addressing the India-UAE joint press conference after the virtual summit in New Delhi, Mr. Goyal said the agreement has also provided a permanent safeguard mechanism which will safeguard exporters and businesses from both the countries from any unwarranted surge in volumes of any particular product. Mr. Goyal said that as India and UAE work to grow their bilateral trade to $100 billion, it will create at least 10 lakh job opportunities for youngsters. He said the India-UAE CEPA agreement will become a template for other negotiations, and it is truly reflective of the deep engagement between the two countries.
We both believe in engaging with each other in a spirit of reciprocity, and we both believe that the people of both countries, businesses in both countries, should mutually benefit from our deepening engagement. And I think that is truly the defining factor which helped us conclude a comprehensive economic partnership.
Prominent non-resident Indian businessmen have hailed the signing of the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement between India and the UAE. They opined that the landmark deal will help the economic and commercial engagements to achieve new milestones and will create a win-win situation for both the countries. Chairman of Lulu Group and Vice Chairman of Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce, Yusuf Ali MA, said that the signing of the CEPA is a landmark move and will prove to be a very decisive moment in the long-standing Indo-UAE trade relations. He said that the CEPA will open new avenues of collaborations benefiting businesses from both the countries. Chairman of Vision Exports UAE, Kogef Group Rizwan Adatya said that CEPA is the first step towards a new era of India-UAE ties. He said that CEPA will facilitate ease of trade, boost startups, renewable and tech collaboration.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate Gobardhan Bio-CNG plant in Indore, Madhya Pradesh at 1 p.m. today through video conferencing. Mr. Modi has recently launched the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2.0 with the overall vision of creating garbage-free cities. The mission has been implemented under the overarching principles of waste to wealth and circular economy for maximizing resource recovery, and both of which are exemplified in the Indore Bio-CNG plant. The plant has a capacity to treat 550 tons per day of segregated wet organic waste. It is expected to produce around 17,000 kg per day of CNG and 100 tons per day of organic compost. The plant is based on zero landfill models whereby no rejects would be generated. More from a correspondent.
The plant is built on public-private partnership mode, from which Indore Municipal Corporation will get revenue of 2.5 crores per annum. The plant has been set up on 15 acres of trenching ground of Indore Municipal Corporation in Devguradia area with an investment of rupees 150 crore. Out of the bio-CNG produced from this plant, 50% gas will be available to Municipal Corporation Indore for the use of public transport buses, while the remaining 50% gas can be sold to various industries and commercial consumers. officials. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan, along with other dignitaries, will also remain present during the event. Mission directors of Swachh Bharat Mission from about 20 states of the country will also participate in the program. Pooja P. Vardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Uttar Pradesh, the Election Commission is making all arrangements for the third phase of elections on 59 seats. Polling parties will be dispatched to their respective polling centres today. In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, all necessary arrangements are being made for free and fair polling. The state is going to poll in 7 phases from 10th of February to 7th of March. More details from our Lucknow correspondent.
The battlefield of third phase of elections in Uttar Pradesh is considered to be a win-win situation for both Samajwadi Party and BJP. While BJP swept Bundelkhand last time, central UP is known as bastion of Samajwadi Party. 59 assembly seats are going to poll in third phase and they are spread over 16 districts of central UP and Bundelkhand. The political fate of many bigwigs will be decided in this phase of elections. All eyes are on Karhal seat of Manpuri, from where Samajwadi Party President Akhilesh Yadav is contesting first time for assembly elections. Union Minister SP Singh Baghel is challenging him on this seat from BJP, which is part of Manpuri parliamentary seat represented by Mulayam Singh Yadav in Lok Sabha. Many other VIP candidates are also in fray, which includes ministers in Yogi government Ram Naresh Agnihotri and Satish Mahana, Samajwadi Party candidate from Jaswant Nagar seat of Itawa, and uncle of Akhilesh Yadav, Shivpal Singh Yadav. Out of the 59 seats which will go for poll on 20th February, BJP bagged 49 last time, while Samajwadi Party got 8 and Congress and BSP got 1 seat each in last assembly elections. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
Punjab will go to polls tomorrow to elect a new assembly. Voting for all 117 seats will be held in a single phase. The Punjab government has declared 20th of February, polling day in the state, as a paid holiday. It said the date of polling will be a paid holiday in respect of all persons employed in any business, trade, industrial undertaking or any other establishment situated in Punjab. We spoke to the Chief Electoral Officer of Punjab, S. Karuna Raju, about tomorrow's polling.
Punjab is going to vote tomorrow on 20th February 2022 for the Assembly elections 2022. 2.14 crore electorate will be exercising their franchise on Sunday. Total we have set up 24,689 booths plus 51 auxiliary booths for the voters to exercise their franchise, and extensive security arrangements have been made. Honorable Election Commission of India has given a lot of forces to Punjab to ensure free, fair and inclusive elections. Keeping COVID pandemic in view, at all polling booths we have arranged additional facilities of mask, disposable gloves, sanitizers, hand sanitizers and PPE kits also, and ensuring distance between. This is a special arrangement to take care of the COVID pandemic.
In Tamil Nadu, polling for the urban local bodies is now underway. The polling started at 7 a.m. and will continue till 6 p.m. with the last 1 hour dedicated to the electors who are COVID positive. The election has been held in a single phase for all the 21 municipal corporations, 138 municipalities and 489 town panchayats. A report from our correspondent.
The ongoing urban civic polls in Tamil Nadu assume significance, as it happens after 10 years of marathon legal battles. Compared to the previous local body polls, the number of candidates elected unopposed this time has come down to just 228, reflecting the fierce nature of the ongoing battle. However, observers say the campaigning this time remained a low-key affair, with major parties banking heavily on digital mode. The ruling DMK and its coalition partners try to consolidate their positions in this election, as it comes in just about 10 months after the state assembly polls. The opposition NDA, which is led by the AIADMK in the state, remains divided. The BJP has come out of the alliance, saying it tries to test its own strength by going it all alone, though it has clarified that its alliance at the national level continues. The PMK, a partner in the NDA, has also parted company for the local body elections. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. India and UAE signed comprehensive economic partnership agreement. Two countries to boost bilateral trade to $100 billion in the next 5 years. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India and UAE stand together in the fight against terrorism. Prime Minister to inaugurate Bio-CNG plant in Indore at 1 p.m. today. India achieves another milestone in its fight against COVID-19. 80% of adult population fully vaccinated. Third phase of assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh and single-phase polling in Punjab to be held tomorrow. NIA arrests IPS officer for leaking secret documents to overground worker of Lashkar-e-Taiba terror group. Nepal government to adopt India's unified payments interface as payments platform in the Himalayan nation. And in cricket, India beat West Indies by 8 runs in second T20 international of 3-match series in Kolkata. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग हेतु संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर
8700014242।
Welcome back. You're listening to the morning news. Union Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia has said that 80% of eligible adult population in the country has been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. In a tweet, he said India has crossed the historic milestone of administering both doses of vaccine to 80% of its eligible adult population. Dr. Mandavia said under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership, with the motto of Sabka Prayas, India is first moving towards achieving 100% vaccination. National Investigation Agency has arrested IPS officer Arvind Digvijay Negi in connection with his probe into Lashkar-e-Taiba LET Overground Workers OGW's network. The accused was earlier working with the NIA and is currently posted as Superintendent of Police in Shimla. In a statement, NIA said that the case, which was registered in November last year, pertains to the spread of widespread network of overground workers of LET, a proscribed terrorist organization, for providing support in planning and execution of terrorist activities in India.
Nepal will become the first country outside of India to adopt Unified Payments Interface or UPI as the payments platform in the Himalayan nation. The international subsidiary of NPCI, the NIPL, in a statement made the announcement yesterday. A report.
National Payments Corporation of India, NPCI, is an umbrella organization for operating retail payments and settlement systems in India. Bharat Interface for Money, BHIM, is a payment app to make simple, easy and quick transactions using the UPI. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the BHIM UPI app on the 31st of December 2016 and urged people to make digital payments a habit to transform the country into a cashless economy. The platform has seen an increase in popularity, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. The adoption of the platform by Nepal is expected to drive the digitalization of cash transactions and furthering the vision and objectives of the Nepal government and Nepal Rashtra Bank as the central bank. NIPL said that the collaboration will enable the last mile consumers in Nepal to reap the benefits of an open interoperable payment system, driving immediate payment transfers between bank accounts and merchant payments in real time. Ravi Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
And now let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
Today, we remember the eminent nationalist leader, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, who died on the 19th of February, 1915. Born on the 9th of May, 1866 in Maharashtra, Gokhale graduated from Elphinstone College in 1884. In addition to learning English, he was exposed to Western political thought and became a great admirer of theorists such as John Stuart Mill and Edmund Burke. Gokhale was deeply influenced by the social works of Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade.
At the age of 22, Gokhale became secretary of the leading political organization Sarvajanik Sabha. At the age of 29, Gokhale was chosen to be the secretary in the Indian National Congress. In the same year, he was elected to the Senate of Bombay University. Gokhale was also a member of the Pune municipality and served as its president. Under his leadership, the municipal government was effectively reformed and democratized.
In 1899, he was elected to the Bombay Legislative Council and played a prominent role until his election to the Imperial Legislative Council in 1902. In the Imperial Legislative Council, his command over subjects marked him as the most distinguished member of the council. The year 1905 saw Gokhale at the apex of his political career.
He was elected president of the Indian National Congress and he founded the Servants of India Society, which was dedicated to the advancement of the nation's welfare. He was also sent by the Congress on a special mission to England to promote India's constitutional demands before the British government. While in England, Gokhale had several important interviews with the Secretary of State for India, John Morley.
In 1912, when Gokhale visited South Africa, he met Gandhiji, where he was fighting for their rights of indentured labourers. When Gandhiji returned to India in 1915, it was Gokhale who mentored him. Gokhale helped Gandhiji acquire knowledge and understanding of the issues confronting common Indians. The great leader Gopal Krishna Gokhale died on the 19th of February 1915, leaving a void in the lives of his admirers. We salute the great nationalist.
We also remember Gandhian thinker and activist Dharampal, who was born on the 19th of February 1922 in Muzaffarnagar. From his childhood, Dharampal was deeply inspired by Mahatma Gandhi. Responding to Gandhiji's call for individual satyagraha in 1940, he joined the freedom struggle. In 1942, he left his graduation and became actively involved in the Quit India movement. He also worked with Gandhiji's disciple Mirabai.
In 1947, at the time of partition, he was put in charge of the Congress Socialist Party's Centre for the Rehabilitation of Migrants coming from Pakistan and came in close contact with Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay and Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia. He was also founding member of the Indian Cooperative Union in 1948.
From 1966, Dharampal devoted himself to an exploration of the Indian archives spread over the British Isles. In this period, he published several books on the nature and functioning of pre-British Indian society. Some of his seminal works include Civil Disobedience and Indian Tradition and The Beautiful Tree, Indigenous Indian Education in the 18th Century.
His research has revolutionized the understanding of Indian culture, scientific and technological achievements on the eve of the British conquest. Collections of his writings have been published by the Publications Division of the Government of India. Dharampal was closely associated with Gandhiji's Sevagram Ashram at Wardha, which he considered his main abode until he passed away there on the 24th of October 2006. AIR News pays tribute to the noble soul.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
President Ramnath Kovind will be on a 4-day visit to Odisha and Andhra Pradesh from today. Tomorrow he will inaugurate the 3-year-long celebrations of the 150th birth anniversary of Srimad Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, the founder of Gauriya Math and Mission in Puri. On the 21st of February, the President will witness the fleet review and fly past at Visakhapatnam. Union Minister of Ayush Sarvananda Sonowal praised Ayurveda for leaving its mark across the world. The minister was speaking at the foundation laying ceremony for the fourth part of the Dhanvantri Bhavan organized by the All India Ayurveda Congress at its headquarters in Punjabi Bagh West, Delhi. The minister said that Kenya's former Prime Minister Raila Odinga travelled to India for treatment of his daughter's eyesight. He said her eyesight was restored by Ayurvedic treatment, for which he thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi and urged him to spread Ayurveda across the world. Praising India's rich culture and tradition, Mr. Sonowal said that he wanted the priceless culture that India had for ages should be known to the young generation of the country.
In cricket, India defeated West Indies by 8 runs in the second T20 International of the 3-match series at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata last night. Chasing a victory target of 187 runs, West Indies made 178 for 3 in stipulated 20 overs. Earlier put into bat, hosts scored 186 for 5 in 20 overs. The men in blue now have a 2-0 unassailable lead in the 3-match T20 cricket series. The last T20 match of the series will be held tomorrow at the same venue. West Indies already lost the preceding ODI series 0-3.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi is likely to experience strong surface winds during the daytime. The temperature will vary between 11 and 28 degrees Celsius. Mumbai had fog in the morning and will have partly cloudy sky later. The minimum temperature is 20 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 28 degrees. Chennai is likely to have partly cloudy sky. The temperature will vary between 23 and 31 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature is 19 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 28 degrees. Srinagar will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards evening. Jammu will have partly cloudy sky. Leh is likely to have generally cloudy sky. Gilgit will have generally cloudy sky. The temperature will hover between 2 and 14 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have partly cloudy sky. Visakhapatnam will have partly cloudy sky with haze. Hyderabad had fog in the morning and will have partly cloudy sky later. Thiruvananthapuram will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Guwahati will have partly cloudy sky. Imphal will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Shillong will have partly cloudy sky. The temperature will hover between 6 and 15 degrees Celsius. Aizawl will have partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature was 6 degrees Celsius. And Kohima will have generally cloudy sky with light rain.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. India-UAE signed free trade pact to double trade in 5 years, leads Hindustan Times. 38 awarded death penalty in Ahmedabad serial blast case, reports The Hindu. Hijab not essential part of Islam, Karnataka tells High Court, writes The Tribune. Russia welcomes India's quiet diplomacy, call to resolve Ukraine crisis, states The Pioneer. Modi interacts with prominent Sikhs ahead of Punjab election, reports The Asian Age. Abhishek retains TMC General Secretary position, informs The Statesman. And finally, P.J. O'Rourke, who died on Tuesday at 74, was a sharp-toothed satirist whose conservatism wasn't doctrinaire. Well, the Indian Express reports that P.J. O'Rourke wrote with high, cranky style in shrinking tradition. He was admired for his willingness to mock just about anyone who deserved it, including himself.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. India and UAE signed comprehensive economic partnership agreement. 2 countries to boost bilateral trade to $100 billion in the next 5 years. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India and UAE stand together in fight against terrorism. Prime Minister to inaugurate Bio-CNG plant in Indore at 1 p.m. today. India achieves another milestone in its fight against COVID-19. 80% of adult population fully vaccinated. Third phase of assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh and single phase polling in Punjab to be held tomorrow. NIA arrests IPS officer for leaking secret documents to overground worker of Lashkar-e-Taiba terror group. Nepal government to adopt India's unified payments interface as payments platform in the Himalayan nation. And in cricket, India beat West Indies by 8 runs in the second T20 International of the 3-match series in Kolkata. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.